What are the 3 rules of surveillance, and why do you need to know them? How can it keep you safer? How can it keep you from being followed and, heaven forbid, attacked in your home or office? I'm going to share it with you right now. My name is Jason Hanson. I'm a former CIA officer, and I'm the New York Times bestselling author of Spy Secrets That Can Save Your Life. My goal is to keep you safer, more protected in the unpredictable world that we live in. So the 3 rules of surveillance. How to make sure you're not being followed. Well, the 3 rules of surveillance are: first, an accident. Meaning, rule number 1 is if you see somebody, let's say you're driving home and or let's say you're walking and you see the same person and, you go home or whatever. Okay, I saw somebody and I saw him again, okay, big deal, right? Maybe not the world's biggest coincidence, okay? Well, rule 1 again is an accident, meaning maybe that person, we just happen to bump into each other. Maybe we work in the same office tower and he's new and I didn't notice him. Or maybe I live in small town USA and we're a town of only 500 and somebody just moved in, type of thing. So if you think somebody's following and you see the same person twice, could just be an accident, right? Well, what happens if you see him a second time? Well, coincidence. So I know they're close, but again, these are the official 3 rules of surveillance. So if you see him again, like multiple times, be like, oh, okay, I saw this guy here, and it wasn't just my office where I bumped into him, or my office building in close proximity. I saw him over here too when I was shopping in the Walmart. Okay, that's just a coincidence that I saw him in my office, maybe once or twice, and I saw him at Walmart. Well, if you see him a third place, that's what we call enemy action. First time could be an accident. Second time, coincidence, because they happen sometimes. And 3 times is enemy action. So if you bumped into him in your office building, if you saw him at Walmart, and then you see the same guy when you're picking up your dry cleaning or when you're going to the gym, well, that's probably not a coincidence. That's probably not an accident. That's probably enemy action. And what I mean by that is you're under hostile surveillance. Somebody's trying to follow you, and you don't know why. Meaning, are they following you because they're trying to get to somebody related to you, maybe a wife or a child? Are they trying to get to you? Are they going to kidnap you? Are they going to hold you for ransom? So unfortunately, when it comes to hostile surveillance, is you don't know when you first spawn them, what is the reason they're surveilling me? What is the attack they want to do? Which is, of course, why you want to pay attention to your surroundings. And one of the kind of most famous examples of this that ended badly was the Aldo Moro. He was a former prime minister of Italy. He, of course, had bodyguards. He had 5 bodyguards with him, but he was very predictable. Now, I'm not the former prime minister of Italy, so most of us don't have that level of threats, but he did. And even though he had those threats, his team took the same route every single day. They didn't vary. They were incredibly predictable. So what did these terrorists do who wanted to get him? Well, they of course surveilled him. They saw where he did every day and they realized, guess what? It's going to be easy to stage an ambush because this guy takes the same road every single day, and it's a small road. It's not like he's on a 10-lane highway, so it's going to be easy to block off. Then, of course, once they realized his predictable pattern, they said, okay, how are we going to do this? What are we going to do? Well, they staged a flower truck at one area right before he came into the kill zone, the ambush zone. And in the ambush zone, they had the terrorists sitting in airline pilot dress, right? So they wouldn't stand out. They could stand at a bus bench and sit there and, hey, these guys are just looking at the bus or looking to take the bus so they go to the airport so they can fly their planes, kind of thing. So they didn't stand there with their Uzis out looking like terrorists. They, of course, did have Uzis, but they were hidden with all their suitcases, everything, posing as airline crew. So when Aldo Moro and his security team, they went in there, the guy in the flower truck tipped off the terrorist. Here he comes. A car blocked him off. And what did these guys do? Well, they jumped up, they took out their machine guns, and they killed everybody, all of his security personnel, except him, and they kidnapped him. It went down very quick. It went down very fast. Now, when you read the history books and look back, and people say, oh, we saw this, we saw the surveillance, it added up. There were tips that somebody was watching him, but people just dismissed him. People didn't take him seriously. So there was the 3 rules of surveillance in action, meaning, okay, we saw this guy was an accident, no, we saw him again, maybe a coincidence, no, we saw him again, enemy action is about to go down. So how can you apply this? What can you do? Well, of course, have your head up, but you can run what we in the spy world call a surveillance detection route, SDR for short. Easiest way to do it is just start making turns, meaning if you ever think you're being followed home, don't go straight home, because criminals have been known to spot somebody with a fat diamond ring at the grocery store and say, hey, that woman's got a fat diamond ring. We're going to follow her home and we're going to do a home invasion, which is a true story, unfortunately. So if you think you're being followed home, well, take a left, take a right, take random turns, and if that car keeps following you, then you know you're being followed. Call 911, don't go home. If you're on foot and you think you're being followed in a store or the mall, just start going to random areas. Does that person follow follow you around, go talk to a security guard, go talk to a manager, have them walk you to your car. So having your head up, you can see, hey, is it accident? Is it coincidence? Do I have enemy action? Have I seen this same guy 5 different times over the last 2 days? Well, guess what? You're being followed. You need to be alert. You need to vary your patterns. So most likely, unless you are a high net worth individual, a politician, a public figure, you're not gonna have people who've been surveilling you for weeks. Most likely, it's gonna be opportunity crime, meaning you're the person who's standing in line at Subway or you're sitting in line in the restaurant and you're wearing your $100,000 Rolex watch and some criminal happens to be in there saying, hey, that guy's rich, I'm gonna follow him home. I knew a guy, he was at a fancy country club. The criminals sat out in front of that country club, would watch the cars come out, follow the cars home, because they knew if people belonged to this, whatever it was, $250,000 a year, uber wealthy country club, they're going back to money, and there was a home invasion. Thankfully, he was okay. So hopefully you learned a thing or two. Hopefully you keep your head up. Hopefully you pay attention before you go home to make sure you're not being followed and stop taking random turns. And if there's anything else, can't even speak. If there's anything else I can do for you, please let me know. Also, please subscribe to this channel. I have a ton of videos that I promise will save your life and have saved people's lives, because I have the letters, I have the wonderful emails, the kind emails they've sent me. Also, if you want more safety tips, definitely click on below. You'll learn a tremendous amount of information. Again, I'm former CIA officer Jason Hanson. My goal is to keep you safe. God bless you, God bless your family, and God bless our country.